Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 1990's Represent. We're starting off our fourth cycle of 1998 with an album. In this episode, we're talking about the Masterplan by Oasis. So, initially, this is a B-side compilation album. So, a lot of stuff that was kind of not put out, at least in album form at this point, was included on this compilation. I have some notes here about that. We're going to get to that, and then we'll get to the track list and all that kind of stuff. So let me just grab these notes here really quick. All right, so here we go. So the Masterplan by Oasis, first released November 2nd, 1998. Like I said just a second ago, it's a B-side compilation album. Like a lot of the stuff on this was not never included on like a proper album. I think they were like tied to various Oasis singles. Like a B-side is basically like you do your main track and then you have a B-side that, accompanies it. Usually a song that maybe isn't quite as good. It might be a song that's maybe more of like a demo state than anything. B-sides are really cool though, especially if you're really into a band. You can find a lot of new music through B-sides. Like it's almost like just like new music. If like you're really into a band and then you want to just explore more, like check out your favorite band's B-sides because you might be surprised of how much other other content that your favorite band or artist has maybe created that you weren't aware of. So B-sides are really cool, especially if you're like really into a band. B-sides are just a really cool thing to check out because a lot of times it might be like demos, it might be like live recordings, like it might be like a completely different take of the song, like an acoustic version, or any number of things. So definitely worth checking out. Let's see here. This was initially supposed to come out more in markets that I think in my research it was saying the U.S. and Japan, where importing the Oasis singles like from the UK would have just been really expensive to do. So they created this compilation so people could get a hold of those B-sides without having to, like go out and import them. And importing music back in the 90s definitely not as easy as now. Like there really wasn't. The internet was a thing, but it was like you would have to like know like UK stores or have people in the UK that could like send it to you. You maybe would be able to get lucky and like find it through some kind of online place. But I think a lot of like the online storefronts that were dealing in music at the time were not really doing like imports. I remember my friends, I think, ordering from CDs. Was it like CD Now or something like that? So it definitely was more cost prohibitive to try to import stuff from foreign countries. I remember my friend's brother, who was a DJ, would often import stuff from Europe. Especially like I think like we first heard Aqua's like Aquarium album. I think I mentioned this in that episode where we heard it a little like a few months early because he actually went out and like found a place or like his brother's friend who was his like DJ partner also like would be importing these albums. So it was possible to get a hold of them. It was just you would have to jump through a few more hoops, a little bit more expensive. This album initially came out to mixed reviews. Some of the reviews, sorry, were saying they were kind of the songs were a little bit inconsistent or kind of forgettable. And then some reviews said, some of the songs on this album are would actually fit better on one of Oasis's main albums, or in some cases were better than the A side, like the main single that they were accompanying. So it kind of came out to mixed reviews where like some people were really positive on it, some people were negative on it, some people were kind of in the middle. And speaking of that, we're going to bring up our reviews for this album here. And then some of the reviews, like retrospectively, have gone back and have changed their scores. But AllMusic has it at a 4.5 out of 5. The Chicago Sun-Times give it a 3 out of 4. Encyclopedia of Modern or Popular Music has it at a 5 out of 5. Entertainment Weekly has it at a B minus. The LA Times has it at a 3 out of 4. NME has it at a 9 out of 10. Pitchfork initially gave it a 3.7 out of 10 a couple years after it came out in 2000. But they've recently changed their score to be an 8 out of 10 a couple years ago, because a couple years ago was the 25th anniversary where it got re-released. But Q has it at a 4 out of 5. Rolling Stone has it at a, a 3, looks like a 2.5 out of 5. And Spin has it at a 4.5 out of 5. So it came out, some reviews like Entertainment Weekly had a B minus, again Pitchfork 3.7, Rolling Stone has it at a 2.5. But yeah, a couple years ago they did re-release it, but the original release, I believe, got to number 2 in the UK, on the UK charts. It hit number 51 in the US. And then, let's see here, got that. It went triple platinum, that's another thing to notice. And in 2023 was the 25th anniversary. 2023 was our 1998 series. So that was all celebrating the 25th anniversary of that year. But in 2023, this got reissued, and kind of funny that the original release, I believe, hit number 2 in the UK, and this also hit number 2 in the UK with the re-released version. We're now going to, and before we get to our track list, some of the B-sides were actually played live on this. Well, this is a documentary, but a documentary and concert film. So if you haven't seen Oasis, Nebworth 1996, either of a documentary or the concerts themselves, I highly recommend checking this out. The first half of this is a documentary about the concert, people that were going to it, like recounting going to this amazing concert. And then let me see here. Yes, as part 1 is Oasis Nebworth 1996, which is a documentary. And then part 2 and 3 are the Saturday night concert and the Sunday night concert at Nebworth. There's the back of it too, if you want to take a look at it. But some of the songs on here, specifically the Masterplan, I think Acquiesce are on there, are part of the Masterplan compilation. But this is an excellent concert film. The documentary is also really good. But we're now going to get into our track list here. Let me pull that up. So the track list on this, it's 14 tracks, an hour and 6 minutes. Track 1 is Acquiesce. And that was the single that was tied to was Some Might Say from, I think that's What's the Story, Morning Glory, I think. Let me just make sure that was the album that was on. Yeah, that's What's the Story, Morning Glory. So Acquiesce is a single. First track on this is that, and the single it was tied to was Some Might Say. Track 2 is Underneath the Sky, and that was the B-side to Don't Look Back in Anger from the same album, What's the Story, Morning Glory, even though I think that became a single in 1996, not 1995. Track 3 is Talk Tonight, which is another single from Some Might Say. Track 4 is Going Nowhere, and the single for that was from Stand By Me, which I think is from their third album, which is, Be Here Now. So, yeah, Be Here Now is a really good album. But, yeah, track 4, Going Nowhere, and the B-side from Stand By Me. Track 5 is Fade Away, one of the best songs on the album. And that is the B-side to Cigarettes and Alcohol off of, I think it was Definitely Maybe. Let me just double check that. Yeah, Definitely Maybe. Track 6 is the Swamp Song, and that's the B-side to Wonderwall, obviously off What's the Story, Morning Glory. Track 7 is I Am the Walrus, which is a live version, obviously written by, or from a Beatles cover, basically. Or not basically, a Beatles cover. And that is also a B-side to Cigarettes and Alcohol. Track 8 is Listen Up, and that is another B-side from Cigarettes and Alcohol. Track 9 is Rocking Chair, which is the B-side to Roll With It, which I think Roll With It is What's the Story, Morning Glory. I just have to... Yeah, 1995 would have been that year. So, yeah, track 9 is Rocking Chair. Rocking Chair. Track 10 is Half the World Away, and that's the B-side to Whatever. Track 11 is, in parentheses, It's Good to Be Free. Again, that's another B-side from Whatever off of Definitely Maybe. Track 12 is Stay Young, which is a B-side of Do You Know What I Mean, which was from Be Here Now. Track 13 is Head Shrinker. That's another single from Some Might Say off of Morning Glory. And then track 14, the title track of the album, is The Masterplan, and that is a B-side to Wonderwall. So again, 14 tracks, comes in at about an hour and 6 minutes. It's an excellent compilation of some really good Oasis songs that, you know, like if you were just a casual fan, you may not have heard those before getting this compilation, or maybe at all. So it's definitely, if you're an Oasis fan, or even a casual Oasis fan, if you're an Oasis fan, you probably have already listened to this. But just a casual fan, just getting back into them or getting into them for the first time, this is a really good look at some of their songs, like earlier in their career. I think like off of their first 3 albums, because I think after this was Standing on the Shoulders of Giants, I think a couple years later. Yeah, so Standing on the Shoulders of Giants is the next studio album after this one. But yeah, there's a lot of just really good songs on this compilation. A lot of reviews were saying basically that they kind of just wish that they made this a studio album and like made it a studio album. A lot of people rank this as their number 3rd. Not a lot, like some reviewers when I was doing my research, it's their number 3 Oasis album. I'm guessing probably the first 2 being Maybe. Definitely Maybe, Was a Story, Morning Glory, and maybe this. Definitely Maybe is probably my favorite one overall. But What's the Story, Morning Glory is incredible, and that really kind of was the first time I listened to Oasis. But the Masterplan, just a really good collection of B-sides off of some of their singles that they had released off their first 3 albums. That is going to do it for this video. We'll be back again in a few days with a movie. Don't know exactly what that's going to be yet, but we'll be watching something from 1998, and we'll come back after that with a video game or computer game before jumping back into 1999, and that will end the 4th cycle before we start our 5th cycle all the way back in 1990. But again, that's going to do it for now, so remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.